Are you ready? I think she's ready. Hi everyone, welcome back. She's super lovey today, so I don't know. We'll probably have a lot of Lexi today. For those of you that don't know, this is Lexi, I'm Carrie, and welcome to our channel. We'll go ahead and jump right in. I've got a lot to talk about. It's been 2 weeks since my last video, and yeah, so a lot has happened. I'll jump into whips fairly quickly. I didn't get as much done as I would have liked to, as I would have hoped to over a 2-week period. I'll talk about some of it in life updates. Also, I am filming on Saturday night, so usually I have all of my Saturday night stitching and my Sunday stitching done, but she wasn't letting me stitch anyway, so I figured I might as well record early. And yeah, that's about it. We'll go ahead and jump right in. Whips, like I said, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to. I hoped to have a few things finished that are not. They're very close to finish, but they're not. And I have actually missed one of my major goals. Really? Are we gonna do this the whole time? And she has to be like this when I'm wearing black too. Did you ever notice that? I have. You're fine. Okay, so first up is the Steady Threads Spooky Blackwork Sal. And the last time you saw this, it looked like this. And this one I'm really disappointed. I really hoped to get a lot more done on this than I did, but you know, what happens, happens. So I did manage to finish the top border. And my next thing will be to do octagon number 2, which is the black cat is here, and then the crystal ball will be here in the center. This one has octagon number 3 is releasing on Friday, which is why I was hoping to get a little bit more done. But this ended up being a much lower priority than some of the other things. I didn't count how many turns that was. We should start keeping a chart. How many times she turns around before she settles in. Are you quite good? All right. So, Steady Thread, Blackwork Sal. The only thing I've got done is the top border. Disappointing, but life goes on. Speaking of disappointments, this is Deal Struck. And the last time you saw it, it looked like this. And since I stitch on this one every day, there should be 1,400 stitches in on this one, and there are 700. I have not touched it at all yet this week for reasons that will become apparent in a second as I talk about the next few whips. So yeah, here's where it's at now. So you can see I'm still working on filling in the black. I'm still getting quite a bit done on the hand. I'm really disappointed in myself because I think that if I had done a little bit more work this week, this hand would be very close to being done. But hopefully tomorrow afternoon I will get a chance to work on this some and fill some of that in. But right now we are at -700 in our goal of 100 stitches a day, and I'm gonna have a lot of catching up to do, and it doesn't look good for that. So I don't know, we'll see. Maybe not mid-November 2026. Oh boy, keep moving further and further back. I've already forgot to mention something. I have a list. You'd think I might at least keep it like near me so that I was looking, but I didn't. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. For those of you that missed me last week, sorry, but I warned you. I know for a fact, my friend the cooking nerd said that Mr. Cooking Nerd, and sorry, you don't have your own nickname yet because I don't talk about you enough yet. We'll see. Maybe you'll achieve nickname status. I don't know. But anyway, was disappointed that there was no Flosstube last week. So I'm sorry, but I did warn you. I'm going to warn you guys right now, September is a great big huge question mark. More on that later. But yes, sorry for those of you that I may have disappointed. And it still kind of blows my mind that that actually disappointed people. Anyway, continuing on. Other projects that I got to work on this week. This one, I came this close to the goal. This close. This is the Halloween Candlestick Sal. And the last time that I showed it to you, it was just kind of barely started, I think. And it looked like this. And this was the one I wanted to have it done, and it's not quite done, but here's where it's at. So all that still needs to be done is I need to finish, there's a handful of stitches left in the flames. I mean, maybe 10 to 15 stitches total in the flames. And then I have to do the back stitch. So I really got super close to being done with this one. But the new piece comes out tomorrow, so I'm suddenly back behind. Oh well, I made good progress. It's adorable. I like it. And yeah, new piece comes out tomorrow. It's the piece down here. I have a hunch it's gonna finish the word beware. I don't know, we'll see, I guess. And then I got to work on one of my not so spooky projects. That's because I am still working on Crystal Academy, and so I have to work on my declared whips when they have the whatever week they come up in spells. And so this week was Technomancy, and my declared project for that is We Do Disney. And the last time I showed it to you, it looked like this. And that was several weeks ago. It was more than 2 weeks ago. And now, with another 750 stitches in on this one, which is one of the reasons that some of the other ones did not get as much attention as I'd hoped they would, because I had to work on this one. Here it is. So you can see I finished Hakuna, I finished Means No, I finished We Believe Some People Are Worth Melting For. The other thing that I did was I put in smallest. And this is, if you've been following me at all and you remember, this is the official Winnie the Pooh colored floss that was sent to me by Jen, Wolf Down the Rabbit Hole. So I'm really excited to have that in there. So my Pooh colors, I've got smallest and heart in my Winnie the Pooh colors. And I am working on finishing that quote, which is sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. And once I finish that quote, I will be done with the first page. So that will put me at 2 out of 6 pages done. And we will keep trucking on this one. But yeah, there's where I am for right now. And there it will stay until the end of spooky season. And last but not least is my Cryptid Sal. And the last time that I showed this one to you, it looked like this. And this is another one that is kind of disappointing to me because I did not get nearly as much done as I wanted to. I at a minimum needed to get 750 stitches done because it was my spell for Crystal Academy for this week that I'm in and the next week. So I still have all of next week to finish the 120-ish stitches that I still have to do. But I was really hoping to actually even get further than that. But man, this is going to be, it's only been 10 minutes. It's going to be super short and it's going to be very weird. I actually have notes and I think this is one of the more disorganized floss tubes I've ever done. I don't know. I'm just weird. So anyway, here is where it's at. So you can see that I finished the last time that I showed it to you, I was working here on the bottom and I finished that. I came back up to the top and I got the word Cryptids stitched, and I actually am almost completely done with that top left corner. I just have the embellishment to do over there and then I can start down that side. So I am a little bit over halfway done with the frame. And this is on 16 count Olympia from Mystic Fabrics. If you are curious, this is an Expo, this was the fabric of the month for last month. For now, it is an Expo exclusive fabric. It's being, well, as I'm speaking, Expo is going on. And it is being sold to needlework shops at Expo. And for 60 days, it will be only available from those needlework shops. And then it will be available on mysticfabrics.com. But it is a gorgeous fabric, the silver and ecru blend. I love it. It's a nice neutral, it's got but it's a little darker. I really like it. I think it's gonna be awesome for this project. So that's where I am at on this one. I am not going to have the frame done by the time that we get to the first release, because the first release is on Friday. Yay! I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm not gonna have it done, but the important thing, Witchy Stitcher said, as long as you had page 1 done, that's fine. And I've got 1, 2, about half of 3, 4, and 6 all done. No, 4 and 7 all done. And then 5 is blank. 5 is right here. So yeah, I'm a little bit over halfway done with the frame. I will probably keep, depending on how big the individual cryptids are and how much time they take me during the weekly releases, I will try to keep working on the frame as I go. But it starts this week, our first cryptid, Friday, September 3rd. Can't wait. Cryptids out. I don't think I showed anything else that had to have a specific mention of a fabric. Haul. My delivery that I was waiting for last week or 2 weeks ago, of course, came the day after I filmed. Why wouldn't it do that, right? So I ordered it so that I could get this. This is by Hands On Design. It is called Blissfully Unaware. And if you can't read this because of the glare, it says, if you are reading this, then you are blissfully unaware of what is creeping up behind you. And I think that's adorable. So this is, on my last video, I showed you the flosses that I had gotten, Weeks Dye Works and the Gentle Art samplers. Those were for this project. And since nothing can travel alone and I'm not going to pay flat rate shipping from 123 Stitch for a single pattern, I got something off of my wish list. So I have my very first Mirabilia. I think the last one I showed you, I have a similar, a Nora Corbett But this is my very first Mirabilia. This is Moonflowers. And yeah, I love this one and I can't wait to get it started. But I'm going to, because it's going to be a super long time before I do anything new. So that seems like a short bit of haul for me. Part of that is true. I did fairly decently right up until the end on not purchasing anything else. I mentioned I had one other thing that I needed to purchase, that I needed to pre-order for later down the line, and that was I ordered Taylor and Cromwell's October Stitchy box because it's going to be Halloween Creepypastas stitch and it sounds like fun. I have one of the other reasons besides the life updates I'm going to talk about at the end that it looks like I didn't get a lot of work done on whips is I had one other piece of haul and one whip that I can't show you because it's super duper secret. I got invited to participate in a secret spook exchange with a few other Flosstubers, and the assignment, we have a cap, and then the assignment is something made, homemade, something shade, ghostly, something sweet, and something neat. So I actually have all of my person's package selected, and I have been working on my something made, which was part of my haul this week and is part of my whips this week, and I can't show it to you. And I really like it, and it's really bugging me that I can't show anyone. So, because I can't put it on my Instagram, I can't put it on Flosstube, I can't put it in any of my chats because at least one person, even the chats that my recipient isn't in that I participate in, at least one person from the exchange is in, and if I talk about it, then they'll know I don't have them. So, so much. So I can't show it. I can't show it. I'm not going to show that one until I have sent it to the recipient and they've had a chance to open it and see it, and then only with their permission because it's for them. So we'll see. Maybe you'll get to see that. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll see it on their Flosstube if they like it and show it off. But TBA. Okay, I think that's all I had for haul and whips. Plans. Oh, I had one other thing I usually mention at the beginning, shout outs and whatnot, and I kind of jumped right into whips and I skipped that. So I wanted to say thank you to a couple people that I know mentioned me in the past couple weeks. I know that Stitches by Shelby mentioned me on Instagram as part of one of her common thread posts. I don't remember what that whole thing is called because I'm not participating in that one. But I know that she mentioned me for the post that includes Flosstubers, so thank you very much for that, Shelby. And then the other person that I really need to thank is Sean, Lost in Books, Film, and Floss, who gave me a shout out on his channel that was very kind and very much appreciated. And thank you so much, and I like watching your channel too. So yeah, that one just made my day, so thank you. So, shout outs taken care of. I guess the notepad was a good thing. Like I said, 2 weeks is a lot for me. So plans. This week, I need to work on, over the next 2 weeks, I need to get 750 stitches in on Grimm's, which is kind of killing my vibe because I want to work on my spooky stuff. But I need to do that for Crystal Academy. I need to at least get my 700 in on Deal Struck, if not try to catch up some of what I'm missing on that one. Candlesticks, New pattern drops today. Cryptids. New pattern drops Friday. Steady thread. New pattern drops Friday. I think you know what I'm going to be working on. I'm also going to be working on my gift for the Secret Spook, because that is due to be mailed out by September 27th. So that's what I'm planning on working on. Again, the next, excuse us. All right, are you gonna get comfortable? Oh. Maybe I should have waited till tomorrow. Are you proud of yourself? Yes, yes you are. All right, well sit down if you're gonna be here. You're in the way. Or are you gonna go somewhere else? Please say you're gonna go somewhere else. Okay, where were we? Plans, Flosstube wise. I'm kind of in a huge question mark area right now. As I'm gonna talk about in life stuff, I am not sure how much stitching I'm gonna get in the next few weeks or large parts of September, to be honest. So I don't know when and if I'm going to be able to record at least Flosstubes that have any sort of progress that is worth anything. I've been talking with a few people. You might have heard some other Flosstubers mention the Coven. I've been talking to the Coven, and we got into some old Flosstubes, or one of the people in the chat got into some of my old Flosstubes and was talking about them. And that made me think about, there are a few things I haven't tried lately that I enjoyed doing, and I abandoned them because they didn't get a lot of views. But I'm thinking maybe now that I have more subscribers, I might go back and try them again and see how they go when I have more opportunity for interaction. So I might revisit some learning videos. I have a few things that I want to try. And again, if they're not your thing, I just skip that part. There'll always be a Flosstube at the beginning. And if the rest of it's not your thing, go ahead and move on and just have a great week. And thanks for even watching the Flosstube part. So I'm thinking about doing a few of those. I have some things I could do pretty readily. That one though would involve a lot of work, so that's a more like in the future. But for now, I've been debating doing maybe a Stitch With Me again, because it's been a long time since I did one of those. So let me know what you think about that. And I'd probably collect some questions to do like Q&A during it for like chatting. The other thing that has come up is trying to think how to phrase this properly. I mentioned the possibility of doing Stitch With Me, and I linear statements, and right now I'm going boop, 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 boop. So I don't know how I'd do that. Maybe I could do a traditional record a Stitch With Me, or maybe I could do something live or on Zoom. I don't know how that would work. But in the course of talking about this and bouncing ideas off of people, something may be in the works. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Nothing is set in stone yet, but there's been some discussion about collaborating with some other people on a project that might actually really help me out with not having to worry about having any progress done. So, question mark, do I have you curious yet? I hope so. So yeah, that's it for plans. Reading, watching, listening to. I finished a lot this week because I traveled last weekend. More to come. So I finished The Lost Hero, which is the Rick Riordan, which was the Magical Stitches book for August. I am not sure how I feel about this series yet. I miss Percy. I don't know. Like, I love the characters from the first series, and I don't know yet how I feel about the characters from the new series. And even though, like, it's the same universe and Percy and Annabeth and all of the others exist, and they showed up in the book, it wasn't enough for my liking. So, yeah, I reserve judgment yet. So I finished that one. Also, the narrator stinks. I do not like him in the least. So there's that. Really what? Pet break, sorry. She's been super needy tonight. I should have known better than to try to film tonight. I literally just took this shirt out of the dryer, so I don't know what could be so interesting about it. It's not like I've had a chance to spill anything on it, which is a really common thing. All right, up or down, make your choice. But standing in front of me is not good. So I finished The Lost Hero. I was really excited because I've been suggesting to my library, or actually to Overdrive, which is the ebook and audiobook service that my library uses, to get the rest of the books in the Vampire Knitting Club series, and they had 3 of them come in. So I got to read Cat's Paws and Curses, which is a novella, so it was only like 78 pages. It was less than 2 hours to listen to. Popcorn and Poltergeist, and Garters and Gargoyles. And I love that series. It's just a little cozy paranormal mystery series. It's a good palate cleanser between some of the bigger, harder stuff that I tend to read that has like darker, although I haven't been reading very much dark stuff lately. But yeah, they were a nice little break, and I got through the 3 of them, and now I am waiting again because I had to request that the library buy the remaining 3. That was 8.5, 9, and 10, so now I need 11, 12, and 13. And I will be caught up to where they are. But we don't have it yet. I am currently reading Sense and Sensibility, Stitching Book Club for January. So yeah, I'm currently reading it. I'm actually about an hour away from being done with it. And not much more to say about that. I've read it before, so it was just a matter of trying to find time to listen to it in between all of the things I was listening to that were library books that had a time limit on them. And actually, the disappointing thing was when I got my new phone, all of my audiobooks reset. So I was over halfway done with Sense and Sensibility, and I had to start it again because I was driving and I didn't have time to go searching for where I was. So literally in the last 2 weeks, I've almost listened to the whole book. It's read by Rosamund Pike. She does a really good job of it, as you might expect. So I will finish Sense and Sensibility probably tomorrow. I am reading Lords and Ladies, which is again somewhere in the teens in the Discworld series. It's the witches. The witches are my favorite. I really like the witches. I like the Night Watch also, but yeah. So I'm about a third of the way into that one. Not even, probably not even a third, maybe a quarter of the way into that one. And then I have The Promised Neverland, and it's due back in 2 days, so I really need to buckle down and read that, the first volume of The Promised Neverland, because I'm not going to get an extension on that one at the library because it's super popular and I had to wait weeks for it, so I know that it's needed to fill a hold. Watching. Still working my way through Black Clover. I've been watching Marvel's What If. I am really liking that. Between that and the No Way Home trailer dropping this past week, I've had my Marvel fix. It's been really exciting. It really seems like a lot of the multiverse stuff that came out in Loki. When I first heard they were doing Loki, given some of the events of the past movies, and I'm not going to tell them to you if you've somehow been living under a rock and are interested in Marvel and haven't watched it yet. But from the way that some of the movies left it, I thought that Loki was just going to be like a fun little like filler and wasn't necessarily going to be in the MCU. And instead, it looks like this might be like the linchpin for what happens from here, judging by No Way Home and What If and just some of the things I've learned about some of the other movies that are coming out. It really feels like this is going to be an important thing. So, and yeah, What If has kind of solidified that as well. So yeah, I haven't done a lot of watching, but what I did was really interesting. And then Black Clover, I'm starting to get into, and unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that Hulu only has the first of the 4 seasons. So I might have to go digging for that library DVD collection. We'll see. So not a lot for reading, watching, listening to update. Life. Things are just busy. Not necessarily bad, but busy. Well, the first thing is bad. One of the reasons that I didn't get nearly as much done on Cryptids and Candlesticks as I wanted to. Cryptids and Candlesticks. That sounds like the sequel to Bedknobs and Broomsticks. The long-awaited sequel. But anyway, I had taken those 2 with me to go visit my dad. And about 135 miles, and I had my GPS on, so this is how I know these numbers pretty exactly. 135 miles from home and 265 miles from my dad's house. This happened. So that was fun. Fortunately, I was about as lucky as I could be with this happening in the middle of quite a long trip, in that by the time my tire pressure sensor went off, I was a mile from a rest area. And the car was running completely smoothly, like you would expect some vibration if a tire was down. So I must have hit it, and the tire pressure sensor must have gone off like that, because I didn't slow down at all, because I didn't feel any vibration or anything. I just thought, oh, one of my tires needs a bit of air. And I'll look at it. I need to stop at this rest area anyway, so I'll look at it when I pull into the rest area. And I pulled out at the rest area, and that's what the tire looked like. That was the picture that I took when I got out of the car. So, yeah. So I was lucky in that I did not have to drive on the tire or be stranded on the side of the expressway. I was able to pull into a rest area where I was safe and relatively comfortable, although it was super hot and I was trying not to keep the car on too long. But I also had Lexi in the car. So yeah, so we sat for a little over an hour while AAA got a tow truck out to us, and the Coven kept me entertained. And they came and pulled my tire off, and there was a bolt like this long in the tire. And they looked at it and they're like, oh, that can be plugged easily. And in fact, if you go if you go up to the next exit, just about a mile up the road is the next exit, and there's a tire place like right there. So it was 5 minutes from where I was to this tire place, because my spare is not a full-size spare. So it's rated for like 100 miles and it's max 35 miles an hour. And I was on a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit expressway. So I might have gone a little bit faster than 35, because I think you're just asking to cause an accident if you go 35 on that kind of highway. But just for that mile. And then I went 35 all the way to the little tire place in this small town. And they got me right in, and they were super nice in that they asked me for my keys, and they saw the look on my face, and I said, well, my dog is in the car. And stupid me had left without her leash, because she doesn't need a leash when she's at my dad's. And usually we can get all the way up there without me needing to let her out of the car for a walk. So it's not the end of the world usually if I forget her leash, but today it was, or that day it was. So I'm like, my dog is in the car. And they're like, well, do you have a leash? Can you take her out of the car? And I said, I can't. I don't have a leash. I mean, I can take her out of the car, but I would be like holding her. So they let me, like, they changed the tire, took it off, patched it, put it back on the car while I was in the car. So I was really appreciative of that. So they did that. They got me back on the road. The whole thing took about 2 hours longer than it normally would. So Friday night, I didn't feel like stitching. Friday night, my dad and I usually do like a few things that we didn't get done on Friday night, so they got added to the Saturday pile. So Saturday, I didn't get a lot of stitching done. Sunday, I had to drive back. I never get a lot of stitching done on Sunday, which was the other reason I didn't have Flosstube last week. So yeah, that was what the flat tire really kind of threw my whole weekend off and took out all of my stitching time just by virtue of the fact that it left me so tired. So yeah, there's that. The other thing that is coming up is I have mentioned in the past, like, well, I guess I never mentioned completely what was going on because it's not real, and I'm not going to right now because it's not just me. But a few months ago, I had talked about having a great week, and then I got some news that completely took the wind out of my sails. That is kind of coming to a head. So I am going to be, without saying any more, within the next couple weeks, a family member of mine is having surgery. And that is going to require some attention on my part. So I'm going to be traveling quite a bit. I am going to be distracted. These are reasons that I can't promise a lot of Flosstube in the next few weeks. The other reason I can't promise a lot of Flosstube in the next few weeks is I am job hunting in earnest now. It's not that my current job is bad. I greatly enjoy my coworkers. My work is challenging. I have it very good there. I'm under no illusion that I do not. But I am tired. I am tired of being away from my family while all of these health challenges are going on. These have been going on for several years, almost since the point that my mother died. And so it's been like the last 6 years, I've felt very isolated from lots of major things that are going on with my family by virtue of the fact that I live 7 hours away. And I'm tired. And so I'm starting to look for jobs that are up in the area where my dad lives, where my brothers live, where my nephews are, where my whole extended family is. It's going to drive me batty because I love living in Indy. I love having things to do. I'm going to be giving up a lot of things to go up there, but I feel like at this point that I need to. I'm not saying with 100% certainty that I am moving on, but I am much more seriously, like the last time I mentioned that I might look for a job, it was more of a, I'm just putting some feelers out, and now it's a little bit more serious. It's still not a done deal. It's still not a certainty. But so the other thing that I'm going to be doing, like next weekend, I should have lots of stitchy time next weekend because it's Labor Day. But I am kind of going to start looking around my house and trying to maybe get it into a saleable condition. And kind of do a spring cleaning in late summer, early fall. Like things that I'm not using that maybe I do just need to get rid of, because it would be a pain in the butt to pack them. So Again, not 100%. I know a few of my coworkers watch this occasionally. I am not 100% leaving. I'm just a little bit more serious about looking than I was before. The other thing that is probably going to preempt some of my stitching, although I'm leaning more towards not going, is Gen Con is in a couple weeks. But our numbers here in Indianapolis are not great. There were 2 days this week where we had over 5,000 new cases. So right now I am still on the fence, but I am falling more towards the not go side. But again, I have to talk with Sebastian. Although the last time that I talked, we were both on the same page about that, as in we weren't sure what was going to happen. And they made a comment to me about another trip they had planned that they said they weren't doing. So I'm having a hunch that they're probably also on board with me with this. So yeah, there we go. Busy September coming up. A lot of stuff going on. It's probably going to affect my stitching. So I'm not even going to promise a bi-weekly, because I'm going to be in Michigan 2 weeks from now. So yeah, I hate to do this, because one of the things I've always been pretty proud of is sticking to my schedule. But the entirety of September is a maybe. And I'm sorry to do that. It's really going to go by when and if I get any stitching time, and kind of how I am mentally with all of the stuff that is going on. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing me do maybe some non-stitchy something like a Stitch With Me, a live stream. I've also thought about getting on Twitch, but I've never gotten around to it. But yeah, a live stream or a Zoom call or something like that in place of a regular Flosstube. Feel free to let me know. If you have any questions that you'd want answered for a Q&A for a Stitch With Me, or even if you just want to, if I get enough questions and I don't do a Stitch With Me, maybe I'll do a Q&A segment. I don't know, any questions that you have for me. No matter how goofy. I reserve the right not to answer if it's too personal. But yeah, that's about all I have. So, wow, 44 minutes, and maybe like 10 of that was stitching. So if you are still here after listening to me ramble for a full 30 minutes after the stitchy stuff was done, kudos to you. And thank you. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I will see you all sometime. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy. See you next time. Bye.